Цинтія, як ви ставитесь до сучасного кінематографа? Чи все вам подобається? Як воно змінилося з того часу, як ви активно знімалися? І чи є у вас улюблений режисер, актор чи фільм саме в жанрі бойового кіно?
I think when I first started doing movies, which is back in the late 80s, I didn't really know too much about martial art movies. In America, I haven't really seen too many. All you saw was maybe the old bar brawl, you know, where a guy throws a punch and that's it. Never really saw fighting. I started training with my one teacher in New York, Shun Liang, and he would take me to Chinatown to go see a movie. And this was my first introduction to martial arts and films. And I was just in awe of it. You know, I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I would just watch the action. And I would watch Jackie Chan when he was doing his own movies. And I would take those moves and go home and I would practice them. So I grew up watching this. And then who knew, you know, many years later that I would be in Hong Kong doing those same kind of movies. To me, you had to be a phenomenal martial artist to do Hong Kong movies. You could not know anything and get by. It was, if you were not a good fighter, you could not do it. And that's kind of how I grew up on it, you know, and seeing it. And then I lived in Hong Kong for 3 years, seeing all the Hong Kong movies, like all the time. They made them so much. Then when I came back to America, then I got jobs to do movies, martial art movies in the States. So I started, you know, working there. Now, it was a little different than the Hong Kong. You know, in Hong Kong, my first movie was 7.5 months to shoot. Here I am, I come to America, and the whole movie is like 4 weeks. You know, that's a big difference. And the fight scenes were maybe like only like half a morning, where like my first movie, we did the whole ending fight scene. It took a month to do. So it was really fast. It wasn't the same kind of action. Then there was an influx of Chinese movies coming in, and I think it started with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You know, America people started seeing, wow, I like this, I like the wire work, I like this and that. And then we started getting so many movies having the same thing. And I think today is more than any day, you know, you see so much martial arts in movies. Almost every movie is having action in it. And for me, as a martial artist, it's funny because usually an action picture is something I would last go see. I'd rather go see a drama or a comedy because I get critical when I'm watching it, going, oh, that foot wasn't in the right position, that hand wasn't right, oh, that was a stupid move, you know, that wouldn't work. You know, so I'm too critical and I don't like to watch it, right? But there are some that are really, really good in the cinema. And I'd say probably one of my favorites, I'm going to be two of my favorites, was The Kingsman. Now, here's an example. You have Colin Firth fighting. He can't fight. He's not a fighter. It shows you the difference in filming then and now because his double probably looked identical to him. So he could be doing a move and you think it's him. You know, so they made him look like a good fighter. So it's the magic of cinematography now. You know, you could just kind of have your face and maybe it's someone else's body, you know. But I did like the action in that. And I also liked in Robert Downey Jr., he did Sherlock Holmes. And I'm watching that, right? And I'm watching it not going for an action movie, but I'm going because, you know, I like that story. And then later I found out that he really is a Wing Chun practitioner, you know, because I was going, wow, he was really believable. The film that I liked was Wonder Woman. I didn't want to go see it. I was like, oh, it's going to be stupid fighting. I'm not going to like it. And you know what? It was $150 million budget. Okay, they probably had her training for a long time every day. And, you know, with doubles and camera angles and work, it really looked like she could do what she could do. So that is like magic, right? It doesn't always happen because if you don't have $150 million, you're not going to get your actor that is non-martial artist to look like that. So I like that. And my favorite action director is Corey Yuen. He's who I worked in Hong Kong with. And he also has done The Transporter. He started off doing like choreography for some big films. And as far as American directors, I like Tim Burton. And I also like Kenneth Branagh. I guess for action, I've always been a Jackie Chan fan, because he was like my hero, growing up. And what I like about Jackie Chan is that he'll take anything, like a magazine, and fight with it, or a telephone wire. And I like that because it works. For martial artists that aren't martial artists, who I think I really like is Jason Statham and Liam Neeson. I mean, and these guys aren't martial artists. Now, Jason Statham was a diver and he started studying. He was very physical. So if you get someone that's extremely physical in a sport, they could look pretty good doing martial arts. And Liam Neeson, I don't know what he did, but you know what? He doesn't do like, it would look silly if he's jumping off the walls and doing kicks and spins and stuff like that. But they don't do it. They make him do really strong action that works. So I like them. I like, you know, when I see their movies, I know that I'm going to like the action.
Сучасне кіно відрізняється від того, що було в 90-х роках. Це зараз більш бойова хореографія, спецефекти, це гра екшн-акторів, каскадерів. І люди, часто дивлячись це бойове кіно, надихаючись бойовим кіно, йдуть в секції з єдиноборством, але реальну картинку бачать інакше. Тобто зараз дуже такий великий розрив між реальними бойовими мистецтвами і тим, що ми бачимо в кіно. Як ви ставитесь до так званого мистецтва обману? Чи справедливо, чи це чесно по відношенню до глядачів?
As far as choreography in film goes, a lot of people want to be in martial art films, but they don't understand what it entails. It's not getting up there and fighting. You're getting up there and you know what's coming around. So, say we're fighting and you know I'm going to punch you in the face. A lot of times people know it's coming, so they'll turn and then the punch comes, right? So one of the hard parts about choreography is waiting until you see that punch come and then you move, right? And make it look realistic, right? Because it's like a combination. I always call it like it's like a deadly dance, a deadly ballet. You know the movements, a dance pattern, but you have to make them work and look really effective. Choreography, it totally depends on who the choreographer is. There has been really amazing ones, and there are some that's not so good. I myself had films where I like a choreographer who knows my moves to come in and show me what to do. But there were times in my film where they didn't, and they would give me moves that I didn't really like. So I would have to put on the hat of being a choreographer and change my moves and say, hey, do this, this, and that, you know. Well, you know, for the public's view, to me, movies is entertainment. It's not a class for you to learn martial arts. So if you're looking at something, like say we're watching the Charlie's Angels TV series and the girls are fighting, and I'm like going, oh no, that's not good fighting, you know. And then the other person sitting next to me might not know martial arts and go, wow, that's great, you know. So it's a total individual thing. To me, if I was a director and I had action, you know, I would make sure that my stars really did it right. But sometimes the director doesn't look at it. Like sometimes martial artists might not like it, but you know, when it boils down to it, it's really about entertainment.
Ви багатогранна особистість. Крім того, що ви майстер бойових мистецтв, у вас дуже багато чорних поясів в різних стилях. Ви акторка, ви режисер, продюсер, сценарист. А також ви тренер, зараз подорожуєте всім світом з семінарами, знайомитесь з багатьма людьми. А що із цих аспектів вам найближче зараз до душі? Що ви робите зараз з найбільшим задоволенням?
Yes, it's true. I wear many hats. I do a lot of things.
Bowling.
Yes, anything. First of all, you know, I'm a martial artist, martial art teacher. Then I'm also an actor. I am an extreme adventurer. I am a mom. I have 6 animals. And I manage all that myself. Of all that, I have to say, to me, I feel totally blessed to be able to do all that, and I'm glad I have a lot of energy to do all that. But my favorite role of anything, if I could say, if you only could do one thing, it would be to be a mom. Because to me, my daughter is the most gift that God could give me, and that definitely is number one in my life.
Дякую. Тоді скажіть, будь ласка, більшість приходять в бойові мистецтва в дитячому віці, чи це якийсь підлітковий період, коли там бурлить кров, грають гормони. Але є категорія людей, які приходять і хочуть займатися вже більш зрілому віці. Дехто з них боїться, дехто з них соромиться. От що б ви порадили таким людям? Як їм взагалі вступити на цей шлях бойових мистецтв, як до цього ставитися?
My philosophy is that everybody should study martial arts. whether you're 5 or you're 95. I am a person that believes age should not get in the way of anything that you do. And even if, like I've taught people that were in their 80s, and yes, they can't do all the high kicks and stuff like that, but it's very easy to learn self-defense. I taught people that were in wheelchairs that couldn't walk, how to defend themselves from the wheelchair. So I don't, one of the things I really don't like is when people say, oh, I can't do that, I'm too old, and they're 40. And I'm like, of course you can, I mean, you just have to adapt, and if you have a good martial art instructor, he'll see what you could do and he will take you, as far as you could go. But it's great for kids to start because they learn coordination, they learn self-defense, they learn confidence in themselves. Their school gets better because they learn how to focus. They learned respect in martial arts schools. So I definitely think it's a great age. You see in the news, like there's a woman that's 101 and she's skydiving, which is going to be me when I get that age. But, everybody should learn martial arts and age should not be a barrier.
Дякую. Розкажіть мені, будь ласка, про вашу школу бойових мистецтв. Я знаю, що ви її заснували. З якою метою ви вирішили на той момент її створити? І яка зараз ситуація з вашою школою?
When I was living in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I used to teach for my teacher a lot. And then I decided to open up my own school because it was like, well, I had jobs as I was an aerobic instructor. I was a manager of a fitness club. It always dealt with fitness or movement, And when I opened up the martial arts school, to me, this was a dream because I get to teach people, I get paid to do it, and I could train 8 to 10 hours a day, because I was competing that. And then I opened up a second school in Wilkes-Barre, and then I left those to my partner and I moved to California. When I moved to California, I opened up a school with a partner there. Then it seemed like with my movies, I was like traveling way too much, to keep the school. I started doing seminars, and I didn't really do them a lot. And it's all because of Facebook, So I did a seminar, like, say I went to Germany and did a seminar. And then I started posting pictures and people are like, oh my God, Cynthia does seminars. And people would even think, sometimes they see me in the movies and they're like, you really can teach? And I'm like, yes, that's what I do, And then I just started getting a lot of seminars. So that's a big part of my life today is people say, you have a legacy, what would you like to leave to people? And I'd say that I have helped them in their life, either whether it's martial arts wise or friend wise or uplifting wise or, just kind of a role model to just find your passion and whatever it is, just work really hard for it. I think sometimes when people are unhappy with what they do, it's because they're not doing, I totally believe in God. Mm-hmm. So I think what God gives us these gifts and we have to find out what they are, and that's our passion, and then just, full force, just don't give up, don't accept failure, be positive, and put like 110% effort into achieving the best you could be.
Можете поділитися власним досвідом щодо того, чи можливо побудувати успішний бізнес-проект у сфері бойових мистецтв?
There's so many schools, especially in America. I mean, you could go 1 mile, there's one here, there's one there, there's so many. And I think what happens is that everybody that is a black belt, or maybe some people aren't really legitimate black belts, they want to open up a school because they think, you know what, I like teaching it, and it's a good way to make money. It's a good way to make money. It depends. You can't just be a good martial art teacher. You have to have, if you want to make money, if it's not like, this is your full-time career, you have to know your business, and get a good business plan, and have someone help you with that. And most of the schools that are profitable in the United States, like some of them are even making like, $200,000 a year, like teaching martial arts. And then you have someone that's making, $1,000 a month, something like that. The difference is promotion, obviously good teachers. You have to have a good teacher because, the people that come into a martial arts school, they don't know. They could just see, and whatever they see looks good because they don't know. But once you get in there, if you have a good teacher, he's going to motivate you. He's going to pay attention to you. He's going to correct you. He's going to help you not give up because it's so hard. And you know what? You have to be there every day. That's why I don't have a school right now, is because to make a school successful, you have to be there every single day. You have to do promotions. You have to get the word out to people. And you really have to believe, believe that what you're teaching is to convince someone to do it, because this is going to help you. This is going to make you a better person. That's, basically the formula for success is a good teacher, good business plan.
Світ знає дуже багатьох чоловіків-майстрів, чоловіків-зірок в сфері бойових мистецтв, дуже багато. Але Cynthia Rothrock у нас одна жінка. Скажіть, яким шляхом, якою ціною ви досягли того, що світ знає всього одну єдину жінку-воїн? Яка особливість цього шляху для жінки? Що ви проходили? Що ви долали? Що ви доводили?
I've been doing movies since the mid-80s, and now here it's 2020, and a lot of people say, well, how come they still like you? How come they still know you? How come you're still doing movies?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will do one or two, and then that'll be it, and that's it. And I don't know, I feel blessed. I think because my fighting is good, so it comes across on screen, and I have, like a lot of people, one of the best things for me is that people will see my movies, and even here in the Ukraine, people said, I saw your movies. Mm-hmm. So I started martial arts, and I love that. I couldn't ask for anything more. Women see it and they go, wow, well, if she could do it, I could do it. I'm not the kind of person that kind of goes, oh, I'm great, I don't have to talk to you. I'll talk to anybody.
I'm queen.
Yes, the queen. and you know what? I really enjoy people, and I am really thankful for my fans, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am. It doesn't matter who hired me or the money I made. I would have women say to me, oh, you could wear lipstick while you're doing martial arts, and I'm going, yeah, why not? Why not? And people had this fallacy that you had to be a man. It was a man's sport, and it wasn't feminine, and I'm like, of course it is. To me, it's like, get you in good shape, how confident you are to defend yourself. Why wouldn't you want, a woman like that, and I think, people realize now as time goes on, yes, that's a good thing. But at that time, it wasn't. So competing against the men, I had to find that I had to be so much better than the men. If I was just good, I wouldn't win. I had to be way, so I trained like a maniac, and I kind of feel like, I'm like one of the guys now, because I had this one guy, believe it or not, it's the strangest thing, I was the first woman on the cover of Karate Illustrated magazine. And I was a kid, I was a teenager then, and this is a couple years little, and we're sitting after a competition, and he said, so, how'd you get on the cover of the magazine? Did you sleep with the editor? And I looked at him and I went, oh, no, is that how you got on the cover? And his mouth just dropped, So it's kind of like dealing with that. You have to be tough. It makes you tough, And when I teach the war, I call it my seminars like having warrior spirit. And what to me a warrior spirit is, it's internal. It's basically doing your best. Now it transfers into anything you do, having warrior spirit. And what that is don't give up. Don't let failures get in your way. My good friend says, I eat obstacles every day for breakfast. And I love that. I love that saying, you know what I mean? And it's just like, to me, is being the warrior spirit, to being the warrior woman, to being strong, to being confident, to being loving, to be caring, and to share, with the world what you know.
Які ще вершини прагне підкорити Cynthia Rothrock?
Challenges is Mount Kilimanjaro. That's the challenge for me. I think now my challenges are like doing like extreme adventure, and I think I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I like it, and I get nervous and I get afraid, but I'm like, I can do this, I am strong, and I that's how I challenge myself. Goals to continue to do movies. I still want to do a lot of movies. Most of the time I've always been hired to do movies. Now I want to work on my own documentary, and I'm in the process of doing that. I got some of the pieces together. Now I have to get the money for it. So once I get that, I'm going to do it, and it's not going to be a typical documentary. I don't want a documentary where everybody's like, yeah, I love Cynthia, she's great. I want them to tell inspirational stories, funny stories, I want it to be motivational. I want it to be entertaining and, kind of give people, like a lot of people, like I said before, have that feeling, oh, I could never do that. Like the feeling is like, no, I can do whatever I want to do, and if I have limitations, well, I work with it. I want to write a book. So I have a book, coming. I've been wanting to continue doing seminars and traveling. My goal is to travel everywhere in the world, as many places as I can, until I can't travel anymore.
And
так
I am
понравилась
sure,
фраза.
not usual, but it's so often, it happens
Well,
so
not the
often.
gay part, but
Yeah,
And
but
he was
I want,
drug user,
yes,
big
I want
time.
to ask you, did you have such kind of friends in your life, such stars, and how to